Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift. This is episode 146. This is the Borderlands Gearbox E3 special. Oh my goodness, so many good things to talk about. You know me. It's me, your boy Matt. I'm the greatest host, the greatest man who has ever lived. And with me, as always, for like the fourth time this year already, it's Snuffleupagus Eric. Welcome to the show,
hey
Eric.
guys.
How you feeling today?
Hey, it's me, Eric. Welcome back to another show. Glad to be here. I am in tip-top shape. So, you know what? My father-in-law, he had to have some more surgery crap done, and he ended up getting a head cold, a really bad head cold, and he came over and stayed at our house for a few days to recoup and recover, and he gave it to me. How gloriously kind of him. I'm so happy.
Awesome.
Yes, so happy. So that came on yesterday, but before that, this weekend was my daughter's last big soccer games. We went out and had a blast doing that. I enjoyed watching her, especially the older one, because she knows what she's doing. The games are really cool and fun. The younger one actually started to play finally. She's actually scored 2 goals. So I'm like,
nice.
all right, she'll be on board. So next year's going to be really good with both of them doing that. But for now, that is finally all said and done. The summer has arrived officially. The wife and children are out of school. There is no more dance, no more school, no more friggin' soccer, none of that. We still got Girl Scouts, but that's a really tiny one. It's no big deal. We can handle that. And let me do something on the show. Man. There we go. Woo! You guys,
Nice.
anybody who's parents, y'all know it's, geez, Pete, it's never ending. And I told myself, I've said it a million times, I told myself I would never do this. I said, I ain't going to be that parent, I'll go to 10 events and doing all that crap. Them kids are going to go outside and run back and forth and play. And look where I am. Look at what has become.
You got plenty of land out there. Just say, hey, it's time to run to the fence and back, girls.
That's right.
Get.
Well, saddest part is we do that sometimes. Go run around. Go. Kick the ball, like way out there. Go get it. It's fun times. So we did that.
You basically are playing fetch with your daughters. That's what you're telling me.
That's what you do.
I'll just throw a big stick, and they
run and chase
both got to
it.
carry it together. It teaches them
Teaches them
teamwork.
like the 3-legged race. Jeez, man, come on, get with the program. I've told you before, raising kids is sort of like dogs.
We all made it through it. We were all right.
So, anyways, Sunday rolled about. Guess what? It's E3, everybody. It has come. We have seen all the different events. I was watching them, sitting around at the house, feeling like a lazy bum. In the middle of getting these things done, getting told I need to go run and do something, or run there to do this. So I'm trying to watch it on my phone as I run to the store, or run over here. Woo. I feel like I'm crazy and I shouldn't do it. I feel like I should just let it go and then just go scope out the websites afterwards and just find out what happened. But I feel like I'm missing something if I don't watch the presentations, if I don't go sit and actually watch the whole thing as it's happening and be aboard that hype train or anti-hype train or whatever you want to call it, depending on the year.
Yeah, because I think for me, I'm in the same boat. Like, I feel like I have to watch it. As a gamer, it's my duty to watch it. But then a lot of times it's, oh, look, here's the Square Enix presentation. And I like Square Enix. I got nothing against them. But, like, nothing they showed appealed to me. Or, like, some other presentations coming up. I know they're not going to show a lot that's good for me. But I'll have to put it on, and, like, I'll be playing my Vita or, like, looking down at my phone or reading my book or something, and I always got to be like, is it? Oh, okay. Like, I have to, like, half divide it, because if I just sit there, I go, well, that was a waste of time. Mm-hmm. But if I don't watch it at all, then what kind of gamer am I? I'm not even one anymore.
You're not even paying attention. You're going to become James, basically.
Yeah.
Eric, what's that game? I don't care, man. Whatever, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Just go away. You're not going to be able to have a conversation with me about it.
Oh, man, come on.
Oh, okay. Oh, man, fine. I'll leave you alone.
Did you read that book? No. Oh, okay.
No. Okay. Yeah. So, did that. Had a great time. It is now, well, E3, the presentation side is over, but now, of course, it's getting in everybody playing the games, getting hands-on impressions, all sorts of one-on-one interviews. So we're going to be staying tuned for all that. But for now, that's been my week. I don't know what else I've done. The head cold, it's closed off portions of my brain, which, as you guys already know, is already a heckle of a mess. Mm-hmm. So here we go, Matt. What about you, buddy?
Well, I have not been sick this week, but work has been absolutely hell, as it always is. And that's great. That's a fun time. That's always wonderful. But the two things I did do fun over the weekend, went and saw Rocket Man, the Elton John movie. I thought that was actually a lot of fun, really cool. Like, I was sold by the trailers anyway, but then when I got into it, it was a lot more like a traditional musical than, like, say, Bohemian Rhapsody was, which was kind of more of a straight movie with music segments. Like, there were a lot of, like, big dance numbers and stuff going on in this one, but then also not to the degree that it was a full musical. So I thought it was kind of weird. It needed more big, bombastic musical segments, although what it had there was really cool. So I don't know, obviously anybody who's a fan of Elton John should see it, but if you just like musicals in general, I'd say it's a pretty good movie. I had fun with it. It was a good time.
Seeing all these weird movies, man, I don't know about all that. I don't like druggies and alcoholics. I don't think we should celebrate them.
But they get better, so that's worth celebrating.
Yeah, that's true. And besides, even if they did it, they created wonderful music. So, there's something to be said for that. So, yeah, props to them, I guess. Whatever.
Well, see, just like with Bohemian Rhapsody, I went in, like, I know some Elton John music, and I like a couple of his songs really well. But, like, what he was most famous for when we were growing up was, like, the Lion King song. Yeah. And I was like, oh, what else has he done? Oh, he's done all this stuff and had this huge career, and, the story of his success from coming over to America from Britain and seeing like the old 70s rigmarole and stuff they did. It was so cool. I was like, wow, I had no idea he was like a big rock star, basically. I had no clue. No freaking clue.
It's before our time, man.
That's right.
Which makes around for Whitesnake.
Which makes me sad because as I was watching the movie, obviously all 70s, 60s stuff, I'm watching, I'm like, man, everything back then had so much character. Like even like the fonts and just like the cars, the clothes, everything about it. It's like, wow, that looks like real and like old and, weird and strange to my modern person eyes. But it's like, it looks like a real thing. Like everything nowadays is all sleek and it's like things used to be interesting and like looked like they had texture and physical flair. I don't know.
I agree with you. I like that. Mm-hmm. I like how, there was a time when things were unique to themselves and looked really out there. But I cannot fully agree because some of it was just atrocious.
Yeah, I mean, I'll agree with that.
It was just over the top, ridiculous, and it should not have existed. So, like, we need to meet in the middle. You know what I mean? We got to meet somewhere in the middle because I'm not all aboard this whole sleek, super metal. Everything's white and pristine and minimal or whatever. I'm not aboard all that either. But them shag rugs and the giant, that kind of the wallpaper and stuff.
But those giant boat cars, you see one of those, you know those are awesome.
Oh, God.
Big old caddy.
Why we thought that was a great idea, I'll never know. For no reason either, because back then the engines were just these tiny little things in this huge expanse. You could literally hop into the hood and work on the engine and everything. That's how much space there was. It was not needed at all. Like, it was extremely excessive. I don't understand.
But
now we've gone the other way.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you look at it and it's like, dang, it's huge, but like that's a car. And you look at some cars nowadays, it's like, it's this little mini bucket thing. It's a clown
box.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're jumping in, you barely get there. I'm only freaking 5'11", and I don't fit in half these cars out there nowadays.
Yeah.
I get in, and my knees are up in my freaking belly, and I'm just like, meh. And even when I push the seat back, I'm barely able to be normal human, which means that whoever's in that back seat can't be in the back seat because I've taken the entire space. I'm like, this isn't a car; it's a moped with 4 wheels.
And then you get in, and it's all that cheap GM gray plastic everywhere. It's like, oh man, at least a 70s car or a 60s car had like maybe like wood paneling or just like it looked like natural materials instead of just, cheaper than this coaster right here. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Oh, anyway, we got way off on.
No, this is the new topic of the podcast.
This is not what we're supposed to be here for.
Dude,
oh my God, they've had interviews at E3. They're E3 itself. Come on, this is getting crazy.
But the other cool thing I did over the weekend, went out to the Williamston Theater, watched a play called New Releases. That's one that I saw a reading of last year during their big play-a-thon that they always do. So it was cool to see it actually in person. Story about a video rental store closing down, and the characters inside it, they interact with each other. So it was nice to see, like, oh, we're talking about a movie. Look, we can actually pick up the movie. Then you see that it's, hey, look, we're talking about Mad Max. Boom, here's the Mad Max thing. And like, it had a lot of like physicality and realness to the setting and everything. It's gone now. Popcorn Falls is up next, but it was a really good show. I enjoyed myself. On the video game front, been playing Persona 4 Golden the last couple days. That's what I've been playing while E3 is on. Like, oh, this isn't too interesting to me, but Persona 4 is. Oh my God, here comes the thing. Okay, I'll put this down for a second. Yeah, cool, neat. That's always fun. Love it. Streamed Valkyria Chronicles 4 for a little bit over the weekend. That is still amazing. It makes me happy every time I boot up that game, even when bad stuff happens, because I get to laugh at myself and be like, oh man, that was bad. And then also Steins Gate Elite, which also makes me happy. It's been a happy video game week for me, which is always good. Together as a team this week, we did IG2G episode 55. Had a lot of fun with that one. I think, what did we talk about? Oh, yeah, we talked about E3 leaks. We talked about some fun games on the release schedule. It was a good time.
Indeed it was. I had a lot of fun with it, as I always do. And then, we came here. And now we're doing this show, if you don't know, super early. So, I'll just get that said now because it might seem a little weird, but we're doing this on a Tuesday because I go camping in Grand Haven tomorrow. So, therefore, a little bit early. Like I said, the presentations for E3 are over, but we still got to get through all the gameplay, as I mentioned earlier. So, there you go, just officially stating we're earlier in time than we usually are in case anybody's going, what the heck's going on? There you go.
You did kind of tease it earlier. Be like, yeah, the presentations are done, but there's still like 8 more days of E3 left. Wait, no, there isn't. Oh, my goodness.
No, Eric, no.
But yeah, we're recording it early. It's been a good week. We did a bunch of fun stuff last week. Coming up next week, we don't have any shows or anything, so hit us up with a Talented Tuesday. Hit us up with some kind of question, art, some kind of special thing you want us to do. We might even have a mailbag later, but I might save that for next week. Who knows? But what I do know is that we got shift codes for Golden Keys in Borderlands 2 and Borderlands Game of the Year Edition. Oh my goodness. Hit up the Twitter, the Reddit, the forums, the Instagram. Hit up your preferred shift code provider and get yourself some free loot.
I was so excited because it's like we're magical. The last time we talked, we were like, hey, yeah, we haven't seen the Game of the Years lately, but that's because Randy Pitcher's been super busy, da-da-da-da. Sure enough, the next day, boom, Randy Pitchford throws out a Game of the Year. Borderlands freaking code. You know why?
It's because they listen to the show. I have 100% proof of this in something we're going to talk about later in the episode. Spoiler alert. You know what I'm talking about. They listened to the show. They said, no Game of the Years. Oh, that's right. Boop, boop, boop. Thanks for the reminder, Third Shift. Boom, Game of the Year for everybody. Boom.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's how we do it. You're welcome. We love being a contributor to this wonderful company called Gearbox. That's
right.
How we roll.
And also, we got another set of codes this week. Since it was E3 and all the influencers and everyone was there streaming and doing all the cool stuff, we got a billion VIP codes for the Shift via the Vault Insider program. All the kinds of codes for that. So look them up. I'm sure they're everywhere. Like, literally every time Gearbox was on the TV or the computer, they were like, hey, here's a new code for fans of whatever we're on right now. Boom, IGN VIP, Admiral Baru VIP, whatever, a billion different codes. So get all kinds of points in that system. Earn yourself some free guns, earn yourself some free skins and heads and cool unlocks for Borderlands 3 or the current Borderlands games.
Indeed. And you know what? Speaking of being on the TV and being up on the stage, let's just dive right into it, all right? So, Microsoft had their conference. Sony was not here. We saw Borderlands present yet again another trailer for their game, Borderlands 3, and it was fantastic. All right, I thought this trailer was superb, spot on, music was tight, the action was grooving. They gave really cool screenshots of the different characters and doing an ability or two each. Very smooth. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, I definitely feel like this was, so far, the best trailer of the bunch. Like, I loved the last one, the little 90-second teaser McGeezer, but this was so much better. Like you said, the music was pumping and bumping, and, like, Zane's intro thing, it was all his hits were on the music beats. It felt so good and so stylish and so fresh, and even though it wasn't a gameplay trailer, I mean, it literally said at one point, this is not gameplay, this is just fun, cool trailer. It was so hype and so just get pumped. I loved every second of it. Even though it's, like I said, camera angles from impossible things, characters doing stuff you can't do in the game, but it looked so fun and cool. And it just got me even more. I've got goosebumps right now, literally, just on my leg, thinking about how cool and fun it was.
God, I just can't wait. Now, I will say that after the trailer, they did, and wait, there's more, and then wait, there's more.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where they revealed that the DLC, Commander Lilith and the Fight for Sanctuary, was out now, available for free for all individuals who own Borderlands 2.
Yep.
And this is exactly, if you didn't hear, what we talked about on our last episode of IG2G.
Mm-hmm.
And we discussed the leaks and how it affects the developers and how it affects things coming out, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
And I did feel, as I discussed there, that the leak hurt that reveal this time around because it hit and you didn't hear, at least I didn't hear, maybe they had whitewashed the sound or something, I don't know, and that's definitely possible. I've heard they do this a lot. The E3s and stuff will whitewash out all the applause and screamings to keep the whole thing formulaic and moving. But if they didn't, I didn't hear, the big screams and applause for when that hit. It kind of just, oh yeah, here's this DLC, and then they just moved on like nothing been said or done. And of course, for all of us who love Borderlands, like, oh yes, this is it. Let's go, come on, woo! Clicking the button, downloading the game, let's get in there. And of course, being the humbug bottom butt I am, I've been so busy, I'm still not in there. I downloaded it, but I haven't played it yet.
Now, I will say I watched this part afterwards. I didn't watch it live, so I saw the trailer, but I didn't see the actual announcement. But I mean, I definitely agree. I saw some people who were super hyped about it, but I didn't see like the overwhelming Twitter reaction that you would expect from, hey, here's a cool fresh DLC we didn't know about. Oh my God, it's free right now. Any kind of big blow up like that. And I got to think either one, it's due to the leak, which I feel personally 100% sure that's what it is. But the only other thing I can think of is, even though everyone says the DLC is awesome and people who were in the know were excited about it, I almost feel like maybe it's just, hey, look, here's a DLC for the 7-year-old game. Maybe just the general unwashed masses who just want Borderlands 3 kind of went, I'll just wait. It's a couple months away. Maybe that muted the reaction. If there was a muted reaction in the building, who knows?
Yeah, I was saying, we'll never really know. I know that a lot of individuals who stream and do all the Borderlands community stuff are super stoked about it and have already beaten it and are already farming the new raid boss in there. So, as is the way of things with Borderlands, the psychos have already consumed it and are already farming for all their new level 80 gear, because I think we discussed it once before, but I'll say it again. They got the level cap up to 80. They've got brand new legendaries, and they have a whole new class of legendaries called the Rainbow Rarity. They've got new story. They've got new baddies. All sorts of freaking new stuff going on here.
Yeah, I'm super excited to get into it. I mean, just like you, I haven't been sick, but I always say I get burned out, and by the time I come home, I don't have enough energy to do something. So I've got it downloaded. I've got the DLC downloaded. It's installed. It's ready to go. I'm just waiting for a time when I can play it, and ideally with a friend who I play Borderlands with a lot, like on a Borderlands night. We can drink a beer and have a lot of fun with that. Whoa. So maybe we'll have to do that next week. I don't know. We'll see if schedules line up. I don't know.
I'm taking my stuff Friday, and I'm going to try.
Okay.
We'll see.
Oh yeah, you're taking it up there this weekend. Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then I'm gonna go to the little hooch and see if I can get on.
All right, cool.
No promises, but I'm gonna try it out. We're gonna give it a solid go.
That's right. And we didn't. I mean, I did mention it by saying it's free. It's free for a month. For this month, that Borderlands Handsome Collection is available via PS Plus and also Xbox. I mean, it's on Xbox Game Pass, and I believe it's on Games with Gold. So it's free for this month, the base game. You can also get the DLC for free from, I think, the 9th of June through the 9th of July. So for the period that the game is free, you can get the DLC for free. I didn't hear what it will be after that.
I think it was $14.99 or something along those lines.
Okay. I mean, from what I've been hearing, that's worth it anyway, because they were saying it's quite a few hours long, actually, which I was honestly surprised by.
Mm-hmm. Everybody expected it to be like a little tiny Headhunter DLC, but it's more along the lines of a full DLC because it has a whole new area and everything.
And the other thing I heard through some of the later interviews, which we'll get into, is they were saying, I mean, obviously we've heard, hey, it's the setup for Borderlands 3. It bridges the gap. But I know Randy Varnell especially spoke on, again, one of those interviews about how it's going to have a lot of characters from Tales from the Borderlands. It's going to have a lot of characters from the pre-sequel. So you're going to get to see what happened to your favorites and how they get set up, or, I don't know, maybe even go by the wayside. Yeah, before the events of Borderlands 3, which I thought was really cool, because they could just go, whatever, and just shove it into Borderlands 3 without any explanation. But they didn't, which is awesome.
Indeed. And I want to know what happens to Pickles. And I want Pickles to come back, and I want him to be my friend, because I love, love, love that annoying, wonderful Pickles voice. It just makes my day. Hopefully he's there. We'll find out. I'm trying to stay spoiler-free right now, so I haven't watched any of the gameplay of it. I haven't read any of the synopsises of it, or what's going on.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, I want to enjoy this. I want to get in there, have a couple beers, watch this story, go kill some psychos, see what this big plant baddie's all about, which I heard that this was like the plant people or something that was going to be introduced in the pre-sequel, but that whole DLC got scrapped.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so they're bringing it in here, so you're kind of getting the segue via this instead years later. So it's pretty cool how it's all looping back, coming around. And as you said, the story is unfolding, where everybody went, where everybody is, how we're going to get right up into the moments you start up in Borderlands 3. Rip-roaring, ready to go. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm definitely trying to stay spoiler-free on it as well. I read one review, just skimmed it, went to the bottom and said, oh, look, they gave it a great review. Cool. But so if that's any of you hardcore people like Sean are out there going, why aren't they talking about the big twist and what happened with character X? It's because we don't know, and we're not going to spoil it for ourselves. When we get to play it, we're going to play it. We can talk about it next week when there's nothing else to talk about.
That's right. Darn, skip it straight. Mass got the straight of it. So that was it for the main presentation. And then they went on and had a whole bunch of just random interviews all over the place. IGN had one. The E3 Coliseum itself had one. Jeff Knightley or Keighley, whatever his name is, he had one with him. Hey, you know me. I don't know names.
I know.
Even though he's like the biggest name ever. But see, I don't put anybody on a pedestal, so there you go.
That's true.
And there was a whole bunch of other ones, and I thought maybe we'll just go round table a little bit if there's any cool notes or any sparks of inspiration or things you caught that they talked about that we hadn't heard too much about. Just go back and forth with a little bit of that for now.
Well, I damn sure caught something that we've talked about on the show before, but it was 100% proven on this one. This is from the E3 Coliseum, where Randy Varnell, Paul Sage, and I'm sorry I forgot the lady's name. I didn't write it down because I'm a bad person. I wanted to make sure I got Paul Sage's name because I knew I was going to forget it, and he was on all the other interviews. I'm sorry, I missed the producer's name. But they were there talking about the new gun score, which I hadn't actually heard anything about. For your inventory, you can compare guns via their relative gun score, and then obviously by all the other stats and the elements, blah, 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 blah. That's not important. What is important is that Randy Varnell confirmed that he listens to this podcast because he brought up a point that we brought up here like 4, 7, 18, 45 weeks ago. He said, oh gosh, guys, this gun score is so cool. What I used to do is kind of use like cost of items as my gun score before. Like I'd pick up two and I'd be like, well, they're close, but this one's more expensive, so it's got to be right. We talked about on this podcast, he was sending a subtle shout out to Third Shift going, you guys are the best, you guys are the man, because no one else other than Player X in the entire world would ever do that. So he knows, and he's on board.
Oh yeah, it had to be. It had to be a subtle shout out because, like you said, no human being just looks at a gun's price and goes, "Oh, this one's more expensive," and then just puts it on. No way.
No,
doesn't happen. Only Player X does it. We talked about it on the show. When they asked that question, it sparked in his brain because he listens to the show. He said, I remember when these goofballs talked about this moron guy who did a thing. And so he spouted it out because, it filled a moment. It gave them something to bounce off of and keep rolling with the conversation. Oh, it was fantastic.
And it was extra awesome because I don't think either of the other two really jumped on it. Because if they were in on the joke, if they were in on the reference, they would have been like, ha, 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 ha. Yeah, who would ever do that, Randy? That's crazy.
Instead, they gave like the quiet, awkward, like, huh?
They're like, huh, yeah, well, Gear Score eliminates that. No, he knows. He knows and we knows now.
That's
I know.
right. We know.
I see you, Randy V.
Way to go, Randy V.
That's right.
Now, I want to back it up half a second because that Gear Score thing is fantastic. Because I am stupid. All right, I'm not as stupid as Player X. but I am stupid.
Danny, I need a drop of that. We can put that on every
And
episode of the show.
everything.
That's going in the
I
new
am
intro.
stupid.
Once we really rework the intro, hey, it's me, Eric. I'm stupid. And I like to play video games. I'm stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, that's fine. Every time I miss an episode, which is once a year, you can put it in there.
Now instead of Eric's don't forget to save, just cut it out and just put I'm stupid every episode. He won't
That's
listen,
so
so he'll
rude.
never know. Boom,
I'll
boom,
never
boom.
know, right? As long as you never tell me. Goodness. But I thought it was fantastic because there are times, and here, I shouldn't say I'm stupid, but when we drink them beers and we're having some fun, I start to lose the perception of what the heck's happening,
Yeah.
and we're trying to just keep going and laughing and having more fun. And I pick up these guns, and I don't have no time nor the patience to like go Lou and like actually look and then go back and forth, look at. When it comes up and it just compares it automatically, shows you a little window, shows you little arrows, green and red, all that good stuff. What's better, what's not better, right there in front of your face on the screen. Wonderful. Other games have started doing it, so I'm glad that Borderlands decided to pick this up because I just think it's a sweet feature that's going to make playing this game easier and more fun for the masses out there, especially when you got all your teammates with you. And nothing's worse than having one of your buddies just go, oh, hang on a second, and you stand around for freaking 15 minutes waiting for them to pick a stupid loadout, and so we can go, and you're like, oh my God, it is not that deep. Let's just go. Pick some weapons. This makes it easier for that psychopath who can't figure his stuff out, and we can roll.
I definitely agree with that. I agree. This definitely makes it easier for the masses. I'm one of those guys who pays a ton of attention to his stats and his element types and his other stuff on my 3 main guns. Usually I have a rotating 4th slot. This will be perfect for that. I got 2 purples. It's a shotgun, which I don't often use, and a sniper rifle, which I don't often use. Which ones? Both are fine. Which one has a higher gear score? All right, I'm just going to use that. Sorry, we keep saying gear score. It's called gun score because it's guns. But which one has a higher gun score? I'll just go with that one. We'll see how it works. So for my throwaway 4th slot, this is perfect for those, especially those drunken days. Sure, whatever. Whoop, now I got it on.
In theory, it's better. I'm putting it on, giving it a shot. Woohoo!
Yeah.
It's going to be great. So they did that, and another part that I thought was pretty interesting, of course, and this is a duh moment, is Maz was the focus this time around.
Yeah.
And they went ahead and gave out her skill tree this time, of course. And wow, I'd already picked her based off little to no real knowledge.
Right.
Just because I was like, mech, yes, gun person, yes, this sounds great. And then they released this, and I was just in heaven. You get 2 armaments on top of her that you get to choose. So you can have a railgun, a minigun, a grenade launcher, a minigun, flamethrower, a railgun, whatever. You get to pick these 2 things. There's
Those little homing rockets, those were
those were
badass.
just beautiful. Gosh, bless. The minigun was sweet because you'd aim, have that thing firing off, and of course it'd start to get red and red and red and red and red and red, and you'd have to stop it. So it was something you had to manage while you're shooting out all these rounds. And then the builds, all of them just, built off of those particular weapons in just crazy sweet ways. It's been all over the place. People are already starting to put together tons of builds, and that I've been paying close attention to. They've already got like fire builds going, corrosive builds, heavy defense stuff going, so you can tank and just walk around and never die. And of course, they got that. What do you call it? The where she backpacks somebody. The Donka.
I heard him say it like 4 times, and I never caught the actual words. They're like, Dunkamech, and I'm like, that can't be right. Dinkamech, that's also not right. I just couldn't get it.
Well, God bless it. Donkamech, Donkatonk, Donkatank, Tanuki Tank, whatever. Something
works.
along those lines. Whatever it is, you jump in, and you get to control one of the turrets up on top of the mech. And then in the E3 Coliseum one, in fact, he was like, hey, think about this. There's also a skill tree in which you can go ahead and get out of the mech early, eject early, and it becomes a stationary weapon of destruction, basically. And then if you have that skill, then you yourself or somebody else can still jump inside of it and then mete out a whole bunch of extra damage and, of course, take no hits, feel great, have a good time.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was awesome. Everything about Moe's got me excited. And I know I'm sounding like a broken record because that was the same thing I said about Amara and also about Zane. But yeah, as soon as I saw the abilities, once I saw the mech in action and saw the little, the HUD of the mech and the panes of the transparent window basically. Like, it reminded me of Titanfall 2, which everybody was comparing it to, too. And that felt so good, and this looked like it would feel so good. The one thing I didn't do is go into the skill trees. Like, I started watching Baru's breakdown of the skill tree, and I can't watch somebody tell me about it. Like, I have to see it and touch it myself to be able to get really into it. So I'm still waiting for that skill tree builder that they always put up. Once that happens, I'm going to be all in on all the characters, making my own crazy builds, because you know me, I like to find this one that synergizes with this, but also down the way, I'm going to be playing with these kind of weapons, so tick, 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 and build some old crazy build like I always do.
Yes, I cannot wait for them to get the freaking loadouts put up on their website so we can just play with it ourselves. I hope it's sooner than later. Yeah. I imagine it's not going to happen until they, Gamescom, when they talk about FLAC. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, we've still got another couple months, because I think Gamescom's in August, right? I don't know.
I'm going to assume so, because they did specifically say they were talking about FLAC in August. So if it's there, then that's when it is.
That's at Gamescom. Yep. Yeah. Okay, so there you go. That's when they're going to be talking about him. So I imagine once all of them have been officially talked about and leaked, not leaked out, but thrown out there to the environment, that's when we'll see him finally go up, and then we can all start playing. And then we don't have to rely on the streamers and everybody else to just piece together what they're getting so far, which is cool. But at the same time, like you said, I want to play with it and touch it myself. And I also appreciate you were mentioning how in a mech, you can see the lines and the striations and all the different things.
Yeah.
It changes based off what your skins are. And like in one of the screenshots, she had this cool blue neon lights going through it. And then another one, it was like military browns and stuff. So
that's awesome.
And so the theory is that based off whatever skins you got her in, your mech also changes skins too.
Like. Oh,
yes.
That's awesome. I mean, it totally makes sense, because even Deathtrap changed colors once you switched Gage's skins around. So that works.
Yep. So now when that kitty cat mech that they leaked, so you get to wear, or is that her? She is a kitty cat.
Yeah.
She looks like a weird kitty cat. That means Bear's gonna be freaking looking like that.
Gonna have something done.
Yes.
Nice.
Sorry, Daddy, you cannot play her. No, she's mine. Go get your animals with FLAC.
No, I'm FLAC. So she's got to be.
You got to be Amara.
Yeah.
Or Zane.
Or Zane. I almost said Mose again. God damn it. But hey, we're talking about skins. That was something that they also brought up in the E3 Coliseum. I don't think they mentioned it any of the other places that I saw. Is they were specifically talking about, I mean, I got a whole bunch of appearance things I can go into, but speaking specifically on skins, one thing I thought was pretty cool is they said that weapon skins, or like the golden skins and stuff you can put on your weapons, will have different looks based on the rarity of the weapon you put it on. So if you put it on a common weapon, it's going to look, fine, but not very flashy. You put that shit on a legendary, it's going to be shining, gleaming, looking gorgeous. I thought that was just, I mean, obviously it's kind of a no-brainer, especially since they have the, overlay skins you can actively put on your guns. But I just thought that obviously it's something we haven't had before. It's just smart.
Mm-hmm. I liked it. When they mentioned that, I thought that was pretty neat myself. But keeping it in that same vein, I like how they also mentioned the skins on all the treasure chests and loot chests were also something they paid super close attention to. Mm-hmm. And so whenever you're in the different environments, you get the loot chests that are designed around whatever it is, like Dahl, Malawan, et cetera. So it takes on the looks of that particular brand. And that, to me, is just an attention to detail that just gets you excited, because I love opening treasure chests. Yeah. I mean, what gamer does it? The feel of it's amazing. And then by making it so everywhere you go, the chests are unique and have their own way of opening and their own little sparkles and shinies, that keeps the what's the word I'm looking for? The slag, the sadness, the wear and tear. You know, when you do something a million times, it gets boring.
Yeah. The diminishing returns of opening all these chests.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It keeps that around a lot longer. It keeps you happy a lot longer because you're getting the different looks and the different feels to them. So I like that. Plus, like you said, with the different skins on the different legendaries versus the epics versus the blues. And then on top of it all, you still, as in Borderlands 2, get these guns that could be completely... We might get a Dahl, hand grip, the freaking Malawan, the barrel, etc. So you never know what you're going to get, and then you never get the rarity, then the skins on top of it. Oh, So nice.
Yeah, you brought up two different things I also wanted to talk about. A, the treasure chests, which I just said were awesome. Like, I like the idea of, especially if there's an area where all kinds of chests can spawn, and you run up and what's it going to be? Oh, it's a Maliwan chest. I'm super excited. It's a doll chest. I know I'm going to have different firing modes to switch between. I love the idea of having at least an idea of what could be in it before you open it, in addition to it being styled for that specific manufacturer. Super awesome. And then you said it. I was going to bring it up, but I was like, maybe this is a little too nitty-gritty. Them having so many specific like parts or like functions on each gun, so you can vary that all up. I mean, obviously I feel like they had that to at least some degree in Borderlands 2, but I just like the idea of even if you get two common doll pistols, they're not just going to look like the doll pistol. The hand grip can be different, the barrel can be different, the sight can be different. Just the randomness of that, so it's not just like it happened in Borderlands 2. I got the Vladov pistol. It looks like the Vladov pistol. Yeah, I mean,
some
I still use
did,
it, but you know.
But there were some that were varied. I mean, some of them would like the Unkept Herald. You could get it with the blade, not with the blade. Get it with this hand grip, that hand grip. But it wasn't super, detailed. It was if you were super into Borderlands 2, you knew the differences and you could spot it. But for us crazies who drank beers and played it 100 million hours, we didn't pay attention to that. It wasn't, we just saw the stats and went, okay, this one's got this extra magazine size, whatever. It wasn't like, oh, okay, because the magazine size, it means it's banded, whatever. It was just, it's got this, okay, cool. Whereas in this one, they're making it sound like it's going to be more pronounced. And then, of course, did he say you're going to be able to actually modify it?
I don't think they said that. They just said if you see, the typical undercarriage, you're going to have an idea of what the stats would be.
Of what it is. So you'll just, based off what it looks like, you'll be able to tell what your friends have without actually having to check out their piece sometimes. So that's something to look at in the future. Maybe if you could actually build your guns or modify something like Division does. Woo,
that'd be so much. That'd be too crazy.
You're right. It's too much. It's too much. Never mind.
Now, something on that same vein, and they actually segued straight into it on, I believe it was the E3 Coliseum. They were talking about the same kind of thing applying to the enemies. Like, there's so many different types of psycho masks and way they can build the psychos or whatever enemies it is. But if they have their mask like a certain way, or like they were talking about the dinosaurs on Eden 6, if they got this kind of tail and this kind of head, they're going to have these kind of attacks. Just making it easier for you to understand what it is that enemies do or can do. And I'm thinking, just brainstorming right now, thinking of like the Grenadiers in frickin' Rage 2. They always looked different than just straight up melee or gun people. So I'm excited to see, at least in theory, from what I understand, this kind of stuff coming to Borderlands, where you have so many crazy types of enemies, but if it's like a sideways mask and he's got the shoulder pad up here, maybe he's going to be a rusher melee, or he's got a shotgun back there. I like that idea.
And it gives you an idea of who to control.
Yeah,
especially when you start to get into the upper echelon, last, end game material. You and your buddies can say, okay, we got to get rid of all those guys, all three of them with the shoulder pads, smoke them, because if they get in on us, we're going to get killed in one hit and game over. Allows for some strategy and some good times with your friends, which is also very much appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I will say that they mentioned something here, and it reminded me of two things, all right? And I'm kind of going back to the loot here, so jumping a little bit. They said they got these new little loot people. Oh, my God, the name's escaping me.
The loot tinks.
Loot tinks, there you go. That instead of just being, this random little thing that pops up and just kind of sputters off into space or whatever, or just some big bloated, creature that just runs at you like all the rest of them do, it functions a lot like in Diablo 3, whenever the little loot goblins come out, they're just sitting there going, and if you start shooting them, they start busting loot out of them like a piñata, and they start running away, and they try to build a portal and jump through the portal, and in this case, they try to rift into the ground and disappear through some purpley hazy crap. So I was like, oh, that's cool. And it reminded me of that stupid leprechaun from the DLC.
Yes.
That we chased around all the time. And I went, yes, I cannot wait to be drunk and to say, loot tank! And then we just run around like idiots shooting.
Where is he? Where is he? Yeah. Where is he? He's going south.
Don't let him go.
What way is south?
Exactly. Oh, that is good times waiting to happen right there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
cannot wait for it. I was so stoked when I heard that. I went, yes, yes. I can't wait to see it. And then go, Matt, stop running that way.
And I like the inversion. Hey, there's another proof that they listened to the podcast. They heard about the legendary loot loader bot that flew away into the sky. I don't think they do that. I think that was a glitch. Because he magically went through the ceiling. He did. Oh, if they like it when it goes up, how they're going to like it so much more when they dig down into the earth and disappear.
Yeah. See, they knew we were listening. They knew we loved chasing the leprechaun because we're idiots. And then they put it all together. They went, we got the perfect thing for these idiots.
But I do like that because it makes sense. Like if you're carrying a bunch of, expensive, important things, you're going to try to escape. And the only place to escape other than glitching into the sky in the last game was nothing. Like run around in a circle and get shot. So I like the idea of once you find it and you aggro it, you got to go and get it quick. And I think the one they showed in the gameplay footage, he was throwing out little turrets too. So he, to defend himself while he's trying to dig down. I like the idea of an additional challenge and a timed thing. Dude, don't aggro the thing. Ploop. Oh, we did it. Got to get it now. All right, now it's everyone's aggroed and it's a big hail of just destruction and impossible things to do. I like it. I like it.
I love it a lot. I really do. And speaking of loving that a lot, and you were talking about the dinosaurs and all that, in this particular preview with Moz and whatnot, they're on Eden, which is like the homeland of Jacob's.
Yep.
So they said you're going to get to go see their rich mansions, this and that, and maybe shoot it up. That's what Randy Vardell was saying. And then they're like, of course, when you go to the Malon world, they got all that different aesthetic. They got the night-day cycles going.
Oh, yeah.
So the variety that they're talking about in these interviews of the places you're going to go and the different climates and environments, baddies, etc. you're going to see. And, of course, just in the day-night cycles, they were like, hey, we got that, but I don't think you understand the importance of it because we wanted to make it feel right on these different planets with extremely different suns at different areas. So we had to make sure the lighting was right for what we wanted and it was unique. And I was like, man, once again, attention to detail, really cool small things that are just going to make this a super immersive, fun, varied environment instead of where, like, back in the day, I love Borderlands, but, it's Pandora, 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 Pandora.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And then in addition to planets, they were talking about how you have specific, like, crew missions on each of these planets. And we saw it a little bit in the the gameplay reveal event, all the streaming stuff, because I think Zero had some like high value targets you could find underneath, or like find like a little brawl arena where you had to clear out the little bug monster things. They didn't really explain it, but they showed another one with Moxie, who obviously these people are going to be on your ship. So anytime you go to the planet, it's not just going to be the side quests there from the NPCs. It's not just going to be the main quest. It'll be all the people you brought with you wanting you to do stuff on these planets to keep it fresh, to keep you coming back to Eden 6 when, Moxie goes, oh, hey, Sugar, I got a problem over here. If you go to these 6 planets, maybe you already cleared the story missions, but it'll give you another reason to come back. See the rare spawn, see the, find more good loot. I like the idea of just more stuff to do in these places where there's already all this other crazy stuff to do. It's great.
2 points on there. 2 points. All right. One, I got to say right now before I forget, they showcased a Battleborn Easter egg in there this time around with a rare spawn named El Dragon Jr. And they put him in the very last skin they ever gave him, which was the Borderlands skin.
Yep.
And then brought him into this a little bit smaller. And all he does is run at you and try to clap you to death.
Yep.
It was awesome. I went, thank you, Randy Vardell. Thank you, Gearbox team. Anybody who's involved who managed to sneak these little Easter eggs in there for us.
Oh, yeah.
That's glorious. And then he said that these rare spawns have like 20% chance to spawn for you. And then if they do, like, it'll automatically open up a quest to go kill one for like your buddy to encourage your buddy to get in there and help or do it again. And then you can come with him. Yes, that was super sweet. And then on top of it, they were like, hey, and what if he drops a legendary that you don't need or don't want? We got a mailbag that you could send it to your buddy who's offline or not playing right there. And now when he or she gets on, you're welcome. I just got you a really cool RPG that I'm never going to use. Congratulations.
That is totally awesome because there's so many weapons that I never use, and usually one of us will go, I don't know, I guess I'll take it and sell it. So if I can just be like, oh, look, I'm farming today. I'm not really a farmer, but I'm doing side quests around here. I got a bunch of SMGs, and Eric really loves those. Boop, 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 pop them in the mail. They said even if you don't do that, if you sell a weapon or an item in your vending machines, it has a chance to pop directly to your buddy's vending machine the next time he gets on. So he has a chance to get what you didn't want, even if you don't directly sell it to him. That's freaking crazy. That's nuts.
It is. I when I heard that, I was like, oh, this is it. This is how I finally get legendaries. Because all the others will play by themselves, and they'll get the legendaries, but they'll get something they don't want, and they'll send it my way, and I'll just be rained down with this heavenly legendary loot, and I'll be a happy little banana for the first time ever.
No, you know what'll happen is I'll sell a bunch of legendaries. You'll find them in the vending machines and go, oh, dude, but I'm broke. There's this really cool gun in here. Can you spot me some cash, dude? No, B, I'm sorry.
No, sorry, man. Why'd you put it in here in the first place? But speaking of the legendary loot, I think you briefly mentioned it, but I want to come over it one more time in case it's not what you're talking about. He said there's hidden environments and zones within the areas.
Ooh, see,
for you to find out. He says he loves to explore the environments, and so they made sure to put in hidden alcoves and things like that with little secret bosses and little, just like they sort of did in Borderlands 2 with like the Minecraft thing and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But he said they expanded on that.
Good.
So there's going to be way more of that because he loves that aspect of it, and he wants to promote people to just go in and play and just get in those environments, really take a peek around because they spent so much time making it. And then, of course, he mentioned that it's not cel-shaded. It's some other kind of art that's like extremely difficult and takes a lot of work. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, they said they hand-inked every single one of those textures or items or whatever. So it's not just like you put it in the cel shading program and it boop pops out like that. Like their artists went in and physically rendered every single one of those things,
which is insane. And it shows because it looks awesome.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to make sure that was mentioned, that there are going to be hidden alcoves with all sorts of cool little secrets and then loot, obviously, that you can get for doing it, which is perfect for us because that's what we do. We get drunk, we drink beers, we start roaming around looking for the Borderlands symbols, which, by the way, nobody that I've heard yet has asked where the hell are the Borderlands symbols. What's wrong with these people?
And Danny and I totally forgot about it the last time we were talking about live streams. And yeah, where are they? Maybe nobody else had to drink when they found one. Maybe that's it. Or force their friends to drink. Maybe
there was no punishment for it, so it's this thing they don't really care too much about. Except for to go on Google weeks later just cheating. Go grab them all up.
Oh, hey guys, better drink.
I totally didn't know where that was. Slap you in the face.
But we're talking about helping out your friends. We're talking about exploring with your friends to find Borderlands symbols and make your friends drink. Another thing you can do with your friends, they did confirm this in 2 separate interviews. One was the Mean Mug and Anthony interview on Twitch, and one I believe was during the PC Gaming Show, because Paul was there for that, answered a bunch of audience questions. Duels are back. You can duel your buddies if you choose to. If you guys decide to fight over a piece of loot in traditional Borderlands rules, you can do that. But the other thing, and I got to pull up my notes so I can actually read them because I wrote it down. The question was, will duels be back? He said yes. They said, what about other kinds of PvP? And Paul did one of these. He went, well, yes and no. So there is some kind of other PvP. Maybe it's not directly,
Project 1v1, Project 1v1. I'm going to tell you right now, because remember those crazy looking neon lights? Oh, yeah, that we saw? Oh, that looks like a freaking Malawan world to me. You know what I'm saying?
And hey, they do listen to this show. It's been proven. We've been talking about it forever. It's got to be right. They probably had it in mind for something else and went, those guys, they're bright boys. We're going to put it in there.
I hope. I really hope. That we get almost everything wrong. Almost everything we get wrong. So you know what? That would be the one nugget. That one nugget that we've held to all these years that comes true. That validates everything. Yes.
And like we've said, it just makes sense. Because you wouldn't bring your Borderlands character in there. Maybe, like we've talked about before, maybe you have like a Maliwan robot that you buy as your combat robot. And
Sock'em robots.
Yeah, and here's the cards you can equip to your robot. So it's PvP, but it's not your character, your player character versus player character.
It's controlled because of the cards and the environments, etc. So it's not like the traditional PvP Destiny style that people are generally talking about.
Right. So it is yes and no PvP.
Exactly. I'm telling you right now. They haven't mentioned anything really about the artifacts yet. So that's a whole nother shtick we got to get onto. I mean, goodness.
They did mention it a little bit in one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but they said those were for modifying movement. So like maybe you can slide longer, there were two examples they used. One was extending your slide, which if you can slide around, I'm all for that. But then they also said maybe every time you slide, it sets off an explosion, like a nova around you each time you hit the deck. So I'm excited to see. I love the sliding and the mantling as it is. I want to see what else you can do to modify movement, because that just makes walking across.
Bring back the butt stomp.
Well, Mose was doing that in half the gameplay. You saw that.
Oh, I saw her come racking down like that. It didn't do. I didn't do a lot of damage the couple times I did see it, but I'm sure that was just because of the proximity of the baddies or whatever.
Yeah.
So I saw it, but I was kind of like, is that a butt stomp? Is that what I think it is? Because everybody was sort of far away the two times I saw it anyway in the little gameplay video.
And I saw her do it once on top of an enemy, and I feel like it did a little bit more damage, but it wasn't like boom, instant kill or anything. Because she like grabs a knife and like chops it down. Doosh.
Yeah. I saw it. It looks really cool, so I hope that is the equivalent of the butt stomp, because I love that. I am that person who just loves to go in like an idiot, shotguns blazing, jump in, butt stomp, punch, melee, shoot. Did we win? No? Grenades. All the grenades out. Okay.
Did we win?
Some more.
Did we win? Yes. Was I helpful? Not really, but you had fun putting out the fart cloud butt stomp. So
that's right.
That's all that matters.
And you threw all your grenades everywhere. Good job. It's called a distraction, man.
That's right.
It's a legit strategy. All right.
That's fair.
Goodness. But I don't know. I'm trying to think. Rack my brain here for any other tidbits or notes that really struck my fancy. They did talk about Flack. They revealed his voice.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Obviously Gamescom is when they're going to really talk about Flack, but as a side mention, they did say who he's voiced by, and that is the famous YouTuber guy named Sungwon Cho. I don't know much about him. I haven't listened or watched him or any of that, so I'll have to check him out and see what all the huss fuss is about, and hopefully he's cool, and I'll be excited too.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about him. I've seen some of his stuff, but it's usually like 30-second or less videos where he's, impersonating other characters. I believe I've heard that he does voice acting or has done voice acting over the past couple of years, so good to see him, and congratulations to that dude.
Indeed. And then as another side note, they did go ahead and release everybody to say who they're voicing of the characters who hasn't yet. And so I don't know if at this point Zane has mentioned who he's voiced by yet. I think that was a big thing. It was like, Zane's hiding on a saboteur mission. I wonder who he's voiced by. But I haven't seen anything since then, so I don't know if it's all out there in the wilderness or not. But they are able to say who they are, so by now I'm sure it's public notice. So if you're interested to know who voice acted all these characters, it's out there for you.
And definitely, if you're interested, hit up our buddy Jim Ferranda's Twitter account, because anytime he sees one, he retweets it. That's how I know who half of the people are that we've announced so far. Is because, he's voice acting community. He's excited for everybody, so props to him for sharing it for everybody.
And what's really cool is we've had Jim Ferrona on the show before. Great guy, fun times. See, now we'll have to get him to put in a good word for us.
There we go.
And we'll start to get some of these other voice actors on and really go to town with how they got where they are, how it was voicing these new characters, and some favorite moments, that kind of stuff. It'll be a good time.
It'll be super cool because, a lot of them are like Gearbox devs or Gearbox employees. So if you get them on the show in a Gearbox capacity, then you can also branch out into, hey, how did you, get to be able to voice these characters? And what's your opinion as someone who probably wasn't a voice actor at all? What did you like about it? What was strange about it? What was hard for you? And then maybe I could just slide in there and be like, hey, I could do really cool voices. I do a really great Mad Hatter voice, apparently, even though I've never done it consciously in my whole entire life. If you need somebody who sounds like the Mad Hatter, guys, I can't even do it because I don't know how to do it.
Now the heat is on now. You got to do it subconsciously.
Geez, fellas. There it is. I don't know. It's like half Mickey Mouse.
No,
now.
man, you can't go to the voice actor. You know what? It's too late. It's not too late. You can't do it.
You just don't want me to succeed. That's what it is.
No, because I'd be forced to go and try and hopefully succeed, but probably fail and be sad about it.
If they want someone to do terrible accents, you're the man.
I am the man.
If you want a racist caricature of somebody, you can. No, I can't say that.
Stop it. I can do actual voices fantastic, just not accents. So. But if you any cartoon,
Yeah, there
I
you
can
go.
do it. Cartoons would be my gimmick. That's what I got. Because, yeah, I'm not doing accents. Halfway, 10 sentences in, I'd be fucking all over the place. I used to be better, but like I said, man, I don't like the voices. So I can't practice anymore. It's sad. Damn it. All right, off topic.
So one last thing from me in the stuff they talked about in one of these interviews thing, they were talking about, I think it was with a GameSpot interview that Varnell and Paul Sage were doing. The GameSpot people had just had the Gears of War 5 developers on, and they were talking about how to change things up but also keep the core of Gears. They took that question and kind of threw it to Randy and Paul and said, for this new iteration of Borderlands, since it's been 7 years since the last major entry in the series, what did you find difficult in how to evolve it but also keep the pillars of Borderlands? And they said obviously one of the pillars is the guns. They obviously went nuts, so evolving that. And then another one was the tone. And they were saying it was interesting finding a balancing act between having fun characters but they need to have a reason to be fun and silly. You can't just have somebody being a crazy character for no reason in this story that you're trying to tell. Like they said, like some of these characters go through a lot of stuff. Like there's some serious stuff in Borderlands 3, and you sort of got a little bit of that in 2, but I feel like that went way in the silly zone. Like even when we're taking down Handsome Jack, I'm like, but he's just a silly guy who likes to have fun and joke about butts and stallions and stuff. So they were talking about kind of taking it to a darker, more serious place, but also finding that balance of tone of not too serious, but also not too silly without any reason for it. I thought that just, me, I like to think about things as like an intellectual concept. As a project to work on sounds really cool and interesting to me.
Yeah, that conversation I vaguely remember. I think I watched it a day ago or something. I don't remember. But I did take away that whole shtick as you were talking about, that it was in the tone part you're talking about. It extended to the characters, but they also said they extended it to the loot. They wanted to make sure that the gravitas with some of the loot was there, but at the same time they've got that wacky, crazy way of getting some things to you that you know and love from Borderlands. And then they had this story, and maybe I'm mixing up some of these interviews, but then he went into detail about how one of the guns you get is from a character who you got to shoot in the bum.
Yeah.
So you got to shoot him in the bum, and then once you go through this whole shtick, it's a bunch of ridiculousness. This gun's called the butt plug, and then it has like red text. And he said we wanted to get stuff like that in there, but we wanted to make it not too much.
Yeah. Like
you said, so that way it's not too over the top, and we're not just crazy bananas, silly and ridiculous the whole time. But without that, you wouldn't also have Borderlands, and it just goes on to just validate what you're talking about. Is that balance they tried to strike with keeping it ridiculous, but at the same time having a reason for it to be there, and then always having it balanced with something more serious that you can grasp onto and actually appreciate for, the story wise.
And another thing I appreciated that Randy Varnell said is, and we know it because none of their games have gone this direction, but they were saying trying to find ways to be outlandish without just being like stupid and raunchy. Because Borderlands has always been a PG-13-ish kind of a game. They bleep out the really heavy swears. The violence isn't all that over the top and brutal or anything. And nothing's like that, no sexual jokes, no outright disgusting jokes, anything like that.
There's innuendo, but it never goes full on.
Exactly. And I as somebody who's getting older and I'm growing out of silly, stupid stuff like that, obviously I'm joking about that, but it's nice to just not go to the lowest common denominator. How do we be silly? Well, make guns that just shoot poop out. Poop is funny. Just keeping a silly, outrageous tone without going off the deep end.
But at the same time, they do have a gun that shoots hamburgers, which is hilarious.
That is pretty funny.
And I can't wait to shoot a gun with hamburgers.
And see, that's a nice, clean, hilarious thing.
Indeed it is. So I appreciate what they were talking about. I am excited. I hope this story in general is very, very in-depth and engaging, because I already love the characters to death, but I would love to really just want to know, like I do with some of my favorite books, just want to know what the heck is going on with them, what's going on next. Oh, and if someone dies, have that feeling like actually like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? I don't appreciate this. Holy crap. Instead of just going, oh, well, Jake's out of the story. All right.
I mean, basically like Roland was in Borderlands 2. I mean, obviously people who played a ton of 1 as Roland have more connection to him, but in that story, he was just a voice on the Echo thing that said, go pick up the thing, go over there. It wasn't like a big deal to me. I mean, now maybe since I've been through 2 and pre-sequel and Tales from the Borderlands, I'll have more connection to a lot of these characters, but yeah, if they're putting a lot more heavy moments and serious moments in the story, I want to feel those. I want to have those moments of, holy crap, he sacrificed himself so we could get away, that kind of stuff.
Well, we know they did it because, as you're talking about, they did it with Scooter.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And Scooter was the perfect example of that. Hey, I cared about Scooter, as even annoying and stupid as he was. I was like, oh, no. And then he's like, no, I got this. Catch a ride. I'm like, no, Scooter, go.
Oh, man, in that moment and how you could memorialize him on the thing. Oh, man, God, that was good.
That was so good. That was so good. So we know they got the chops. We know they got it in them. And I know that particular moment was made by the help of Gearbox, but also from the Telltale people.
Guys, yeah.
But you know what I'm talking about. They wouldn't have put that out there if Gearbox hadn't looked at it and said, yeah, we're cool with this. We understand. We like this. And probably dabbled. Especially since the death of a character. I'm sure they had a hand in it.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, but that was it for me, Matt. I don't think I took away anything else. There's probably something I'm missing, but once again, I'm going to blame it on the sickness.
I got 2 quick things.
You got 2 ones? Okay.
2 quick things.
Good.
They're not anything related to the streams or anything. One, they had big-ass statues of all the Vault Hunters at the E3 booth. That looked so dope and so cool. I mean, they showed off the construction of the Calypso twin statues. I didn't see anything about Vault Hunters being there. Those looked awesome. The whole room's decked out awesome, just like it was at the reveal thing. So cool. I wish I was there. I got so jealous when I saw all that stuff.
Yeah, those statues were flipping amazing. And one of these days when I sneak into the Gearbox facility through the ceiling and I'm frog crawled across the walls, I'm going to get to see those statues in the building. And it's going to be a glorious day for me.
You get to take like a Mission Impossible selfie, like Spider-Man down from the ceiling and just
click.
And
hang there in my black suit.
Why is it upside down? Hey, I was upside down.
You don't need to know. Need to know basis, boys and girls. But yeah, the E3 presentation area looks fantastic. 2K Gearbox went all out. A whole bunch of the Gearbox employees are there to help out, have fun, talk to the individuals coming into play. And I believe it was Scott who said it was already flipping packed and they hadn't even let the standard civvies in yet. So you know people are going to be there playing that game, having a great time over the next few days. We're going to see all sorts of gameplay on Eden with, Moz and whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait.
And hey, speaking of Moz and Eden 6, which we mentioned a ton of times in this episode, I was like, man, there's got to be something new on GearboxLoot.com, right? Oh, yes, there's like 4 new shirts. One is like a Moz shirt with like a Vladoff Army symbol, and on the back it's got Iron Bear, which looks awesome. There's like a Eden 6 Safari shirt that looks like a Safari poster. It's like, Safari at Eden 6, Safari so goody. And then there's a couple other ones, one with Maya and one with Mouthpiece in kind of like a retro, like neon 80s kind of style. So if you like shirts, and who doesn't like shirts, you got to wear them every day to cover up your body, go get some new shirts at GearboxLoot.com. I want that Moz shirt. I want it.
I do too. Oh, yeah. Bad. I might just go buy it. You know what? Going to have to do that. And before we start to do the wrap-up, I will very quickly say on the E3 show floor, they've got a Mouthpiece statue head portion that you can win there. So if you go sign up, play the demo, come back, put in your thingy, you're entered to win a Mouthpiece head.
Hey, somebody put my contact info in that drawing, please.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Randy Varnell.
Stupendous.
I know you listen to
Stupendous
this.
is there.
Stupendous
is there.
Stu, put third shift in there.
Get third shift in there, man.
Holy smokes. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, congrats to Stu. Longtime friend of the show. He's a good dude.
Well, not only is he a good dude, but he's got his own business going now.
Oh, yeah.
He's hiring in voice actors and voices and this and that and having a good time. As you see, now he's going to the big E3 events. He's got the Mixer stuff happening. He's rocket launching off into a great and lovely career.
That's great. Hey, I'm happy for him. Great job, Stu.
Yeah, I'm going to ride his coattails. I'm jumping on, Stu. Take me with you.
We've established that Eric will be a poor voice actor, but I can do it. If you need someone to do a Mad Hatter voice, apparently, I will do it for you, Stu.
Oh, come on. Jeez, oh, Pete.
This is
I
where
could do
Danny
something.
splices in that one time I did it really good when we
I'm
were doing the
stupid.
IG2G stuff. This is where it goes, Danny, right here.
You put that in,
Oh, my favorite guys, Eric and Matt. Hey, take it away, fellas.
and then you just put, I'm stupid. That's what you put for Eric. I'm
Yes,
stupid.
there we go. Voice acting showdown.
Because I am stupid. Terrible.
So I think that pretty much wraps up our Gearbox at E3 coverage. I mean, we saw a lot of good stuff. I can't wait to go back and watch some more of the interviews that I missed, just in case there's a little tidbit in there, because you know there's always a tidbit.
Oh, yeah. We'll catch a little bit more. I mean, like you said, we've got all the E3 crap to talk about next time. We've got more gameplay that we're going to see arise and more interviews that they're having over the next few days. It's a good time to be alive. It's a good time to be a Borderlands fan. Yeah.
I knew it was coming.
Yes.
I knew it was coming. But what do you guys want to see? Are you still waiting for Flack? Is Mo's your girl? Are you still sticking with Amara and Zane? Let us know via email at info@thirdshift.me, tweet it at us at ThirdShiftME, or find us on Facebook under Third Shift. We got the mailbag thing, but I'm not going to answer that this time. Sorry, person who sent it in. You're out of luck. We'll get you next time. I swear we'll read it on the air for you.
We will. When I'm not sick and I've got way more energy, we can go to town with it. I want to do it
Oh, yeah.
right, so we'll do it right then. By gods. But for now, if you like what you hear, hey, consider heading over to the Patreon. We have it set up like a little tip jar. You like what you hear, throw in $1, $2, $3, any sort of wonderful amount up to that coveted $1 million, in which case we will stop everything we're doing, buy a food line, and stock a shelf with babies in jars, because that's what we promised, and have a dancing mascot. So if you're feeling very generous, please consider doing that. Or just giving us a normal amount. Or, you know what? If you can't afford to, that's cool too, because we're going to keep going no matter what. You can also support us, though, by giving us the likes on the Facebook, the 5-star ratings on the iTunes. Go give us the subscribes and the follows and the love over on Twitch. Any of these wonderful things would help us out.
Absolutely. And of course, this podcast drops every Friday, so we'll be back in your ear holes on the 21st of June for our very next episode. And you can find that episode on iTunes, on Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. Man, I felt so bad not doing that for our E3 Leaks episode for IG2G. It really didn't feel right. But what does feel right is if you like what we're doing and you'd like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out. And we really do appreciate it.
Indeed we do. The 5 stars, I'm telling you. I ain't seen one, boys and girls. I ain't seen one in a while. Y'all letting us stagnate. We're going to start to die, and I'm going to have to seek out them 5 stars. I've told you. I've warned you. There's a reckoning coming. I better hear 5 stars soon.
Oh, boy.
And with that, man,
But until that point, there's something else to say, but
don't forget to
don't
save.
forget to save.
Shut up and sit down.